This weekend is a sad one for Rick and Morty fans, as Season 8's finale means no more new episodes for a while. But don't worry, because there's lots more Rick and Morty on the way. Here to discuss what went down this season and where the show might go in the next few, I'm joined by executive producer Dan Harmon and the voice of President Curtis, Keith David.
Hey, hey.
Thank you guys for joining us so much.
All right.
All right. Now, you are coming into the Season 8 finale here. It's premiering this weekend. Can you tease a little bit about what Rick and Morty's final adventure of the season's going to be like?
I think it's okay to tease as much as we did at the panel today, because we showed a little clip, and the clip is the beginning of the finale, and it reveals that Rick is flirting with moving on with his romantic life, moving on from the sort of ghost, if you will, of his deceased wife, and at the same time, it's the return of Memory Rick, who maybe some people will remember as the kind of idealistic version of Rick in his younger 90s days with his hoop earring and his grunge hair.
His hot alt boy era.
And his rabid idealism, because he's really not a real version of Rick as much as he is a bird person's memory of Rick in their heyday.
There's a few degrees of separation, yeah.
And so he makes a good foil to Rick, because who would be more of a villain to you than someone else's memory of you when you were a better person?
Yeah.
That person would hate you, that memory.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Now, you also announced at that panel, this is so exciting, that President Curtis is getting his own show. That is so exciting. Keith, what's most exciting about looking into President Curtis's life in a little more detail?
Well, we get to explore, all things Curtis. On the show on Rick and Morty, he's had quite a few adventures, from gobble gobble to
it's impossible to count. Yeah, lightsabers going through the White House.
All this stuff. Now
now
he's got some really great adventures. Some in the White House and some out and about related to the White House.
Yeah, foreign trips and so forth. Now, are there any? You have starred with some of the most impressive actors. You being one yourself of that, cadre. Are there any people that you've co-starred before that you think need to get into the President Curtis show as a guest star?
Oh God, too many. You have to come back to me on it. There's a lot of people that you'd like to see on it.
I'd
like to hear on it.
Yes, of course. Dan, any for you that you've got your mind on for that show?
What's Roddy Piper doing?
He's resting in peace.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, that's right. You really beat him up, didn't you? No, I'm sorry. That's awful. Yes, he's no longer with us, and that's why did I pull that out of my butt?
Well, you can come back as Ghost Roddy.
Yeah. I guess we can
do that.
Maybe I'm sure we can edit this.
We'll put it on.
The sound guy says it's like most of we're going to do several takes of this.
Yeah. We have the visual effects take. Yeah, we'll do it all.
Pour one out for the amazing
Rowdy.
What was he like to work with? I'm going to turn this into just a pop cultural.
Listen, he was probably one of the most fun people I've ever worked with. I'm a certified stage fighter. But fighting in the movies is a little bit different. With the angles and the cameras and stuff. And he taught me how to sell it.
Wow.
And how to take it.
Well, you did a lot of selling and taking, and they live. I think there's somewhere in the multiverse where you two are still fighting, I think. There's a portal you could go through, and you guys are still duking it out.
The fight just continues.
I have not put on the glasses yet.
No. Now, how have you found the reaction? Rick and Morty has sort of been modulating how it approaches season-long arcs over the last few years. How have you found the fan reception to going back to more standalone episodes?
I leave that to the kids, and by kids I mean people under 50 that work on Rick and Morty. I've always been proud of the fact that our writing staff is mostly former writers' assistants on Rick and Morty. And so they come up through the trenches and they love the show and have an encyclopedic knowledge of it. And so me kind of farting around like slowly, I should be the old like Uncle Good Times guy that's like, what's going on? Kids love a pie fight. And just let the smarter, younger people be like, Evil Morty needs to do this. We haven't paid attention to this. You know, shout out to Albro Lundy, James Siciliano, who's now running the President Show. And you know, just every writer on Rick and Morty that like they keep track of the canon, and they know when to do a good solid serial episode. I'm just like, let's make it Black Mirror meets My Favorite Martian and keep going forever.
Yes. Oh man, love that. Now, what medium or genre or storytelling convention would both of you like to see used in Rick and Morty? You guys have done so much, but is there any sort of movie, like whether it's a spoof or a specific sort of storytelling convention, what would you like to hit that you haven't already?
Well, Keith needs to sing,
Yes.
but I also think it's like people in my position all too often go like, let's do a musical episode, and I'm not saying those are bad episodes when people do them, but it's a little bit hair triggery for us. Like we meaning guys like me, we're too quick to rush into like, let's do a musical episode. Keith is quite a crooner.
Well, we will venture forth eventually to have the president, you know.
So I could see doing like a musical episode of the President Show.
You know,
I would love that. Yeah, you get the whole cabinet is his Greek chorus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well, you know, Rick and Morty is so good at skewering like tropes and expectations of those things. So I think there's a lot of room for a musical to play with that.
The people all sit down, you're rocking the boat.
You got a preview of it already. I love that. There's also this idea that shows that go on have to continue to outdo themselves. And I want to know what your relationship is to that idea. Do you feel like you have to outdo yourself every season?
No, because I mean, we kind of made that decision in season 1 where we took a different philosophy where, you know, instead of worrying about jumping the shark, we kind of famously jumped the shark as soon as we could, literally destroyed the world, and then revealed that it doesn't matter ever. If you destroy the world, you can literally just sliders Stargate over into the world next door and start over after burying your own dead body. And that was a very liberating thing because it made the show always have to be about emotional stakes. Like, those are the things that drive the story, not so much plot. Like, oh, is the Hulk going to be able to pick up Thor's hammer? What if he can't? Or is Superman going to, you know, make it to the right color kryptonite? And if he doesn't, is it like we don't really get to play with those stakes that much because Rick is just like, he's a god. He's Doctor Who. He can just do almost anything. So it's a boring answer, but we don't outdo ourselves. We just start from the point of departure. It's like, well, the guy can pretty much do anything. So then what's important to him and what kind of challenges can we throw at him?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. You said something that made me think about what we're going to see in the President Show a little bit, which is what is the emotional hook for the president there when we're focusing on him in the story? You know, what's his struggle through that show?
Well, to stay grounded.
Yeah.
You know, he's and I mean, he really is like a good person.
Yeah.
And he has values, and he just wants to makes sure that the people around him stay true to that.
Yeah.
And get back to that, no matter how you veer, because, you know, any one of us at any given time can veer from our core values.
Yeah.
But something has to bring us back, and he always manages to come back to what's important.
Would that it were so simple.
Word that it was that easy.
Yep. Well, hey, we're about out of time here. I do have one more question. Dan, I'm curious. Who do you think has it harder? You with 6 seasons in a movie, or George R.R. Martin with The Winds of Winter is coming eventually?
Look, whichever project Donald Glover can jump into sooner, I will be the biggest fan of either.
He can finish up the last 100 pages of Winds of Winter.
I'm sure he has it a lot harder. I think a lot of the long-suffering community fandoms like Eternal Patience and Roller Coaster Ride, there's a lot. it's not the fans being impatient for us. I mean, they're being patient, and we're kind of doing the hurting. So I will not trade places with Mr. Martin at all.
Well, we'll send Donald over to help him with the last few pages there. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. You can catch the season finale of Rick and Morty this Sunday on Adult Swim. And to keep you busy until then, there's plenty more Comic-Con on the way.
Because singing a
song.
Sing a song.